Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and the Steam Winter Sale is rolling on right now, and that means it's a good opportunity for me to pay my bills, and I am doing videos under the price of $5. I totally butchered that introduction. I am doing game deals under the price of $5 in this video, so let's just get right into it. A lot of great deals to go over. Links to everything will be in the description box below, and do remember that this is the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of deals running right now, so there's gonna be a lot to go over, so let's get right into it, and let's start things off with Ori and the Blind Forest, an absolutely remarkable Metroidvania for just $4.99 right now. One of the great titles that Xbox has published over the last few years, done by Moon Studios, who are now doing No Rest for the Wicked, which I know has had its development troubles. But man, this is an incredible game from a visual standpoint. The gameplay is stunning, but in terms of art style, its presentation, the narrative, the sound design, those elements are so well done in this game and legitimately blow away. For $4.99, it's a great pickup. More people need to check out this. More people need to check out Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the direct sequel as well. The games are fantastic, and for $4.99, this is an exceptional pickup. Highly recommend that. Definitely check that out. Next up, as a part of the deep discount section, I gotta mention Detroit Become Human, 90% off for $3.99. This deal seems to be the standout deal for a lot of people this winter sale. I've seen a lot of comments of people saying that this is the best deal in the entirety of the sale, and I don't think that's a wrong opinion. Detroit Become Human is a phenomenal game done by One Quantic Dream, who are now working on a Star Wars game that, who knows how that's going to turn out and if we're ever going to hear more about it. But Detroit was an excellent game that came out back in the fall of 2019. And from a narrative standpoint, I think it's incredibly compelling. Centered around androids, it's a really well-done story-driven title. And what I always recommend, and I like to reiterate this whenever I recommend a Quantic Dream title, play this game without a guide. Don't be looking up the choices. A big aspect of this game is the consequential decision-making. Do not eliminate the consequence for the game. You want it to be engaging. You want to feel those repercussions of the decisions that you make. And, yeah, just go about it that way. But ultimately, you can do whatever the hell you want. $3.99 for Detroit, great deal there. Prototype is 80% off for $3.99. Now, they recently dropped a patch on this game, an update, and from what I know, some people were reporting that there were issues with the game. I played it after the patch dropped, and the game was running fine for me. Actually, pre-patch, you had to install a mod, but nonetheless, it worked well for me. Steam refunds exist, so do with it what you will. Prototype's a great game. It is certainly dated in a lot of regards, and I want to say I played through this game again like 7 months ago or so, and it was a great game. I had a lot of fun with it. The voice acting in this game is, like, comically bad. And, like, dude, it's one thing about having comically bad voice acting, and you want to be upset about that when you spend $60 on a game. When it's a $4 game, dude, you could laugh at it a little bit. The main character, Alex Mercer, is the quite possibly the greatest edgelord I've ever seen in a video game. It's so funny. But the gameplay is great. The gameplay is awesome, and the, edgelord voice acting is great as well, for what it is. 80% off for $3.99, great pickup there. Speaking of edgelord, a Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, 90% off for $3.99. Certainly a little bit edgy as far as its vulgarity goes, and honestly, I'm not crazy about it. Going back and playing this, I don't think it's that funny, but from a gameplay standpoint, I think this game is awesome. I thought People Can Fly did a phenomenal job with this game, and I remember back in the day, a lot of people picked this game up because I want to say if you pre-ordered the game, you got the Gears of War 3 beta with it, but it turned out to be a very good game in its own right. But back in the day, people were spending $60 on the game, and it was like a 6-hour campaign. Nowadays, you spend $4 and a 6-hour campaign is exactly what the doctor ordered a lot of times, and I think for $3.99, it's a great pickup. Definitely would recommend that. Next up, one of the more underrated RPGs of the last it came out 11 years ago, so I was going to say in the last decade, but the Banner Saga is 85% off for $3.74. This is a really well-done tactics RPG with a great Viking setting, a solid story, and you would think that an RPG with some good gameplay, a great setting in the Viking setting, a great art style as well, would do pretty well, and I guess it did do well enough. It spawned a sequel and a third game as well, but I really enjoyed Banner Saga for what it was, and at 374, I wouldn't expect something that by today's standards is absolutely blow away, but if you like the Viking thematics and the Viking setting, I think you'll enjoy it quite a lot. So 374 on that, good pickup there. The Messenger is 80% off for $3.99, very much a throwback action platformer. That's not going to be for everyone. If you're not into that NES era or SNES era of gaming, might not be your cup of tea, but if you are nostalgic for that era and you want a game that pays homage to that, The Messenger is going to be a game that you really enjoy, and for $3.99, definitely a good pickup here. Can be pretty challenging, but nonetheless, good price point on that. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is 90% off for $3.99. For a while, this game got its price jacked up, so it's good to see it come back down to the $3.99 range, and Jedi Fallen Order is fantastic. I will say this game has an atrocious map layout, and that means, what I mean by that is like the map that tells you like where to go and to look at the overview of the world that you're in. It is so poorly designed in that regard. They fix it in Jedi Survivor, but it's so bad in Jedi Fallen Order. However, this game is awesome. The combat's great. The visuals are great. I love Cal as a character, and I don't even care that much about Star Wars. Like I said, I've told this story before. Star Wars Rogue One was the very first Star Wars movie that I watched. I went to theaters to watch it, and I fell asleep in the theater. So that's about my fandom of Star Wars as far as the movies are concerned. The games, on the other hand, I pretty much enjoy all of them, and Jedi Fallen Order was great. Jedi Survivor, outside of it being one of the worst PC ports of all time, was one of my favorite games of 2023, and I thought it was better than Fallen Order, but Fallen Order is great. $3.99, great pickup on that. Disco Elysium, the final cut, is 90% off for $3.99. This is one of those deals that was a deep discounts on Steam a few sales ago, and now you're just back at the price point that it was at its deep discount, $3.99. Now, I get it. The creators and Zaum, the developer and publisher, there was quite a lot of ongoings as far as that's concerned. I'm not here to break that down, but as far as Disco Elysium, the game, is concerned, I think this game is phenomenal. I think this game is an absolutely incredible decision-driven RPG that really lets you play however you want. There is some RNG involved with it, which I'm not crazy about, but in terms of narratives, great writing, this is really, really strong, and it's one of those games that I think is incredibly engaging if you do give it some time, because it's not a super fast-paced game. It is certainly a bit more on the methodical side, and I remember I recommended this game to a buddy of mine, and he just could not get into this game whatsoever. But if you want your more slower pace story that unravels at a good pace, but not over the course of like an hour or something, if you spend the time with it, Disco Elysium will reward you. Again, a bummer of what happened with Zaum, but I would still say for $3.99, this is a remarkable deal. Helldivers Dive Harder Edition is 80% off for $3.99. I know Helldivers 2 gets a lot of attention, but I played Helldivers 1 on PlayStation 4 right when it came out, and I had a great time with it. An enjoyable, over-the-top action game, top-down shooter, and the essence of Helldivers absolutely is there. That's why I was so confident in Helldivers 2, because when I saw the gameplay of Helldivers 2, it was the Arrowhead essence that lived through. That's what a lot of the live service PlayStation games get wrong. They sacrifice the essence of the studio to just chase that live service bag. Arrowhead just went about what Arrowhead does, and Arrowhead does over-the-top, chaotic co-op action unlike any other. Look at what they did with Magicka, look at what they did with Helldivers 1, and they parlayed that into Helldivers 2. Fantastic, and a lot of that stays true in Helldivers 1. It's an excellent game, and for $3.99, a great pickup there. Over-the-top action, a ton of fun. Next up, if you want some co-op action, Dead Island 2 is also a great pickup. 90% off for $4.99. I will say that Dead Island 2, you might want to go the Ultimate Edition route. And by the way, I didn't even realize when I started making this video that the Ultimate Edition is only $6.99. Yeah, definitely get the Ultimate Edition with all of the DLC. The DLC is fairly consequential, and that's a great deal for Dead Island 2. The base game for $4.99 is fine. The Ultimate Edition at $6.99 with the DLC, that's the route I would go, and I would definitely recommend that. Excellent deal there for Dead Island 2's Ultimate Edition. Definitely a good pickup there. And from Epic Game Store exclusive, in the spring of 2023, now to $5 on Steam. Shout out to those of you with a little bit of patience, because 2.5 years later, you're paying a tenth of the original cost, you're getting all the DLC, and you're getting it on most of your guys' preferred platform. in Steam over the Epic Game Store. Sometimes waiting does pay off, and in the case of Dead Island 2, it certainly did. Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition, $3.99 on this. I mean, this is an excellent RPG. This was the final game that, in my opinion, BioWare put out that was really good before they became absolutely washed with Mass Effect Andromeda, which I don't even think is absolutely terrible, but then Anthem and Dragon Age Veilguard, which are both abominations. Dragon Age Inquisition, good story, good amount of content, the visuals still hold up pretty well, and for $3.99, a good pickup there. Next up, we got Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, 90% off for $3.99. I've gone to bat for this game quite a few times. I think it's a really, really well-done tactics title, and tactics games aren't really my cup of tea, but I think Mimimi Game Studios does tactics games really, really well. They did Shadow Tactics, Desperados 3, and Shadow Gambit the Cursed Crew, and all three of those games were received very well. Blades of the Shogun has a great setting in the Edo, Japan period, and if you just want to take in the setting and have an easier time with the gameplay, easy difficulty does exist. So you guys know I love that. I'm all about easy difficulty in-game. Shout out to your boy. But Far Cry Primal, next up, 85% off for $4.49. I remember Far Cry Primal coming out and, you know, it being a little bit jarring with the setting shift. However, when you actually play Far Cry Primal, you can tell fundamentally it is still very much a Far Cry game. A lot of that the mechanics of Far Cry are still here in Far Cry Primal, and it's an enjoyable game, and you gotta remember, when Primal came out, you had just come off the heels of the release of Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, and those games were very samey to one another. Far Cry needed a bit of a shift, and I think Primal offered that shift, and after Far Cry Primal, they pivoted back with Far Cry 5, and all was fine, but yeah, Primal's a solid open-world action title, can be very Ubisoft open-world-esque at times, but that's not always a bad thing, and I think with Primal, it's a pretty solid game. So, $4.49 on that. Catherine Classic is 75% off for $4.99. I think it's a scam that we don't have Catherine Full Body Edition on PC. Like, what is the reasoning for that? And, you know, it is what it is. Catherine's a great game. It's one of those games that totally caught me off guard. I remember getting it back when it came out on the PlayStation 3 originally, and getting really into it. And the story is wacky, it's zany, part dating title, part puzzle game. It's just so out there, and people want more unique games in gaming, man. There's not a lot of title. There's no title that's out there like Catherine. I just think it's a really, really unique game, and definitely check it out. For this price point, even though it's not the full body edition, I do think it's a good pickup. And lastly, if you are looking for a quality narrative-driven title, I want to give a shout to Firewatch. It's 80% off for $3.99. I really enjoyed Firewatch, very much on the shorter side, but this game came out almost a decade ago at this point, and the art style has just aged so gracefully. I think it still looks great. Gameplay is very simple. It's more of a walking sim-esque game, but from a narrative standpoint, I did really enjoy it. Ending wasn't great, but overall, a great title. You know, from start to finish outside of the ending, it's worthwhile. $3.99 on that, good pickup there. And that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $5 and tons more videos to come. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Hope you guys are looking through the sale yourself. And yeah, I'll be trying to highlight as much stuff as I can. But that's going to do it for me. Your thoughts down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.